Okay. Can you hear us? Please let us know. Hi, everyone. Welcome.
Hi, Winnie.
Hi, Ali. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Oh, now everybody can hear us.
Okay. Are you TGIF?
Of course. How about
Okay.
you? Are you ready for the weekend?
Yes. Yes, I'm ready for the weekend. So can everybody see me in the screen?
Yes, yes.
Oh, yeah, okay. Because I'm doing this with no assistance, no help.
How are you?
So you know what? Just giving everybody a heads up. Anything could happen when I'm in control of any type of social media stuff. So I don't know.
Okay,
I'm
so I'm
flying solo.
Congrats.
Yeah, I know.
So here with us, I'm with Vim and Leo.
Hello, Vim and Leo. Is that Vim or
Hi.
Leo?
Leo, hello.
That's Leo. And there's Vim. Okay. So it's great. Thanks for organizing this, Winnie. I love hanging out with everybody on Facebook. So hi, everybody. Hope everybody's well and have a good weekend planned ahead. I asked Leo to join us today because Leo is an accountant. He works in our accounting division, go figure. And, this is tax season. So I asked Leo if he could share some information for our folks who are in Canada and also for folks that are coming to Canada and would like to know about taxes and why do we pay taxes and so on and so forth. I ask that question to myself every tax season. Why do I pay so much in taxes? But so Leo will give us some great information because a lot of you guys are coming from countries that don't even have taxes. Or so it's just really good information sharing and gathering. So thanks, Leo. I'll hand it over to you. You're on, my friend.
Thanks, Allison. Hi, everyone. As Allison said, I'm the finance lead for the company. So I'm a CPA, and today I'll give you a session on the income tax system in Canada and how it relates to you. So for those of you who are already here, you might have seen some of the terms that I'll be talking about already. And for those of you who are still abroad, this might be useful information going forward to think about when you do arrive in Canada. Now, hopefully you'll find this informative. If it gets a little dry, I feel the same way, but as they always say, there's two certain things in life, is death and taxes. So taxes is one of them. So I will begin with, okay, yes, Allison?
I was just gonna say, and everybody else, I agree, this is boring. It's not as fun as what I do, but Leo's really good at it. And this is just good information for you guys to know because, power is knowledge. So here we go.
Absolutely. And as this session, I feel the most value for everyone who's listening is that because when you earn income in Canada, you do not get the whole amount. So some of it's deducted, and to better understand this will help you plan for your finances while you're in Canada. Now, the Canadian tax system is based on residency. So that means regardless what citizenship you have, if you're living in Canada, means you're living here, you're working more than 183 days, so that's more than half a year, then you're eligible to be taxed. Now, certain countries do have tax treaties with Canada. So if you are one of those countries from where they have a tax treaty and you're already being taxed in your home country, that's something to think about down the road. Usually not an issue because if you're working here full time, it is unlikely you'll be taxed back home where your original citizenship is. So in Canada, there's a two-tiered tax system. There's a federal tax and there's provincial tax. Now, I've asked Winnie and Francis to gather some questions before our session today, and some of you did ask very specific questions. So I'll just like to talk about a few that relates to what I'm just about to talk about. So some of you asked, hey, AJ team, how much is tax in Timmins, Ontario? Someone also asked, how much is tax in Sault Ste. Marie? So in this case, you ask for a specific location, but in Canada, what you have to think about in terms of how you're taxed is the province you're in. So like those people who asked 2 questions, Timmins, Ontario, and Sault Ste. Marie, as both locations are in Ontario, they will be taxed under the same jurisdiction. However, if you're someone who's working in British Columbia or in Quebec, you'll be taxed at different rates. I'll be sharing kind of a quick overview of what the tax rate is for each province as well as federal, because they're tax bracket. I'd just like to give some other high-level overview for how payroll works in Canada. So when you come to work in Canada, your employment contract will state the hourly wage and the number of hours you work every week. So another individual has asked, what is a pay stub? So very good question. Maybe some of you have never seen a pay stub or used one frequently in your original location of work. However, in Canada, it is legally, the employer you're working for is legally required to provide you with a pay stub for each pay period. Some of you might be paying on a semi-monthly basis. Some of you might be paying on a bi-weekly basis or every 2 weeks. So it depends on your employer. However, when they pay you, so either you get a check or a direct deposit into your bank, the employer is also legally required to provide you with a pay stub. And on that pay stub, there's quite a few interesting information. So usually you'll see lines stating how much your salary or your wages based on how many hours you work. If you work overtime, there's also a separate line based on the number of overtime you work. You also get vacation accrual, so it'll be stated on that as well, either saying you accrue this many hours that you can take off with paid, or if your employer might be paying the vacation to you directly if that's applicable. Now, that's the amount that you're being paid for. So that's your gross pay, the total amount from earnings from the company. Now, you don't get that full amount. You also deducted taxes. So there's a couple of different types of deductions involved. As I mentioned earlier, there's a federal tax. So the federal government takes a chunk based on how much you earn. There's also provincial tax based on the province you're located in. There's also something called a CPP and an EI that you will see. So a CPP is a Canada pension plan. So eventually, when you do get permanent residency in Canada and you plan to retire in Canada, hopefully that is your goal, the CPP you contribute eventually will be paid back to you upon your retirement. So that is what CPP is. Now, EI is employment insurance. So if you do become laid off due to unforeseen reasons, the Canadian government will provide you with a certain percentage of your salary based on number of weeks and number of hours worked to help you go through the period when you're unemployed. Now, I have heard experiences before where, especially in times of COVID, that when the employer does not have enough hours, they may temporarily reduce or they may lay you off. So in that case, EI will kick in to make sure that you're still getting a reasonable income for your expenses. So EI will also be deducted from your gross pay. So after all these are deducted, sometimes if you're, just to throw out there, sometimes if your employer provides you with a healthcare plan, they might either provide you for free, in that case it won't be deducted. However, they might also deduct a certain amount each paycheck towards contributing to the plan so that the employer and you both provide for your dental care, pharmaceutical, things like that. So that is generally the things you get deducted from your pay. Now, finally, after all these, there's something called a net pay. So that is gross pay minus all the deductions that you will be deducted is equal to your net pay. Okay. Now, for those of you who are on a salary basis, your pay stub will be very similar every pay period. In this case, for me, I get paid every semi-monthly, so my paycheck looks exactly the same every time. However, if you are someone who may be working overtime or different hours each time, your gross pay might be different. Now, just to throw some high-level details in there, which will be related to a topic later, is that if you work, say, at overtime and you earn more, you'll be deducted more taxes, because that is based on how the Canadian tax system works, is that each pay period, whenever you get paid, the government assumes that you'll be you get paid the same amount each pay period. So let's say you work in a month, you work 60 hours in a 2-week pay period, and you work a 20-hour in a 2-week period. So on average, you work 40 hours in this pay period. However, you'll be taxed a bit more on this 60 hours pay period because the Canadian government, when they deduct taxes, they assume that you're working 60-hour pay period for the entire year. There's a reason for that, which leads to the next topic, is tax return. As Allison mentioned, it is tax season right now. And for Canada, each year we must file our personal income tax return. Now, one of the reasons we do that is because the Canadian tax system is taxed based on your calendar year income. So from January 1st to December 31st each year, the CRA, the Canada Revenue Agency, will look at the total income you made in the entire year and then allocate a tax based on that. Now, as I mentioned earlier, if you work 60 hours in one period and 20 hours in one period, you're going to be taxed higher on the 60 hours because you earn more in that period. Now, when at year end, let's say for that month, on average, you only work 40 hours. So the Canadian government is going to look at, okay, on average, you only work 40 hours. And then this is the amount of tax we deducted. Let's just say they deducted $200. But they realized that, oh, well, if you only work 40 hours on average during those periods, we're only supposed to deduct you $150. So the purpose of tax return is to even out any income that you earn and to see if you get a refund or you need to pay more taxes. Now,
Leo,
yes.
how come I never get a refund?
It's
It's okay, you don't have to answer that. I'm just being fun. Okay. Just making sure people are listening.
Okay, sounds good. Any questions so far? Just like to throw out there. I know it's a lot of information. Okay, hopefully I'm not putting a lot of people to sleep. So I will keep going on. Okay, so at year end, so right now it's middle of March. So hopefully by now, those of you who are working in Canada already, you should have received what is called a T4 slip. A T4 slip has a summary, again, on a calendar basis, what you made last year. So if you're someone who recently arrived from January 1st onwards, you will not have received a T4 slip yet. So basically from January 1st to December 31st each year is considered a tax calendar year. And then the tax return is due the April 30th the following year. So in Canada right now, we're heading into the 2021 tax season. Even though it's 2022, the taxes will be due on April the 30th, 2022. Now, the employer is legally required to provide you with a T4 slip by end of February. So you have the information. So if you haven't received that slips yet, for those of you who have worked in 2021, please reach out to your employer to make sure you get a T4 slip so you can file your taxes on time. Because if you end up owing money and you don't file on time by April 30th, there'll be interest and penalty involved as well. So please make sure you get a T4 slip. On that T4 slip, for those of you who have on hand, I'll quickly go over what's on the information, what's on there as well. It will tell you how much gross income you earned that year. It will also tell you how much deductions the company took off and remitted to the CRA on your behalf. It also tell you how much CPP, EI, and employment benefits you receive from the company. Not a lot of information, but those are general information on a slip. Now, once you get a T4 slips, for those of you who are working in Canada, you must file your taxes by April 30th. I know I keep emphasizing that, but I just like to make this point across for those of you who are new to Canada. Now, if you happen to put some money away in a savings account, you will also earn interest. And in Canada, those interests are also taxed. So let's say you put $1,000 away each month so that you can send some money back home, and the bank is giving you, let's say, $5 on the $1,000. That is also taxable. Not a lot, but still taxable. In that case, the bank you're with will also send you what's called a T5 slips. So T4 for employment, T5 for your interest and banking. So if you have that, you must make sure you keep a, when it's time to file your tax return, have those slips ready as well. I think when you arrive, and for those of you who are about to arrive, you also get a temporary SIN number. So in Canada, your taxes follow your social insurance number. So on the slip, make sure that the social insurance number and those on the T5 slips match what you have when you arrive in Canada. So either on a SIM card or the number you were given. So that's something to look at as well. Okay, so I'm going to quickly go over some of the tax rates so you have an idea of what the taxes are in Canada. In the Canadian tax system, there is what's called a progressive tax system. So let's say if you make $20,000 or you make $50,000 or you make $60,000, you're taxed at different brackets. So there's not a straight rate. Now for the federal one, you're taxed 15% on the first $50,197. And then it will be 20.5% from $50,198 to $100,392. Now, there are rates that are higher than that, but if you guys make more than $100,000 a year, let me know because that would sound like a great opportunity. So, but it goes from there. So 26, 29, and 33. So if you're earning higher income, you'd be taxed higher. So that is the federal rate. Now, in terms of provincial rate, I'll give you a quick breakdown as well. In Newfoundland and Labrador, for those of you in that province, it is 8.7% on the first $39,000, approximately. And then 14.5 from $39,000 to $78,000. And then 15.8 above that. In PEI, so Prince Edward Island, is 9.8% on $31,000 or less. And it's 13.8 from $31,000 to $63,000. And it's 6.7% above that amount. Nova Scotia, it's 8.79% from $29,000 or less, and 14.95% from $29,000 to $59,000, and then 16.67% from there. New Brunswick, 9.4% on the first $44,000, and 14.82% from $44,000 to $89,000, and it goes up from there. From Quebec, those of you who are working there, it will be a separate system, and I will send out a info guide with all the rates through Winnie to give you, so you guys have the numbers. I'm just trying to give you a high-level overview here. Again, Ontario is 5.5% for those of you who asked the questions from Timmins, and since Sault Ste. Marie, it's 5.5% for the first $46,000, and 9.15 from $46,000 to $92,000. Manitoba is, I'm missing a page. Where is the Manitoba? Oh, yeah, sorry, right here. Manitoba is 10.8% for $34,000 or less, 12.75% above going above there. Saskatchewan is 10.5 for the first 46,000 and 12.5 above there. Last but not least, we have Alberta, 10% on the first $131,000, pretty simple, and then it goes to 12% from there. British Columbia, 5.06% on the first $43,000 and 7.7% above there. Okay, and that is the quick summary. I know it's a lot of numbers through all you, and I will get Winnie and or Francis to send you the breakdown so you can look at a tax rate for yourself. To give you an idea of what the percentage you're being taxed at. So again, federal and provincial is added together. So usually for most of you, be taxed around 20 and change % in Canada. Okay. So now you have all your slips. For those of you in Canada, what do? You have to file your taxes. What options are there? There's a couple options. One, there's a lot of, for those of you who have very, very simple returns, so that you just have a T4 and T5, there's a lot of great softwares on there that you can use very expensively. So it could be as low as $19.95. And it's very user-friendly where you can go online, they'll go through a questionnaire, ask for your age, your social insurance number, employment status, and then they'll get you to ask, oh, have you worked? So then they'll ask you to put in your T4, and then they'll also ask you a question. Do you have any savings account or any investments? You get a T5. Have you made any donations to a charity this year? Your donations. So it's very user-friendly. And I use the software to file my taxes, and usually I get it done within about 30 minutes to an hour. So make sure you do that early if you have all your slips. To give you a couple options, there's TurboTax, there's UFile, and other software as well. Again, I will give the list to Winnie to distribute to everyone who's in Canada for tax software you can use. Now, if you say, I'm busy with the work, I don't have time, I'm willing to pay a little bit more, there's also tax preparation services you can find. The largest one in Canada is called H&R Block. They have many locations, offices across Canada. You can simply take your documents in there, and they'll, based on whatever slips you have, they'll give you an estimate. Sometimes they'll have newcomers to Canada deal that you can show them that you recently come to Canada. But usually, instead of around $20, they will cost more, from $80 to $100, depends on how complex your tax return is. But the good thing for that is you don't have to lift a finger. They'll do it for you, they'll follow through, and you get your, if you do have a refund, you get a refund in the mail. Okay, so that is tax returns and tax rate. Any questions so far about taxes? All right, I will keep going on. We're almost there. So as I mentioned earlier, sometimes you get a T5 if you have savings account that gives you interest. So let's say you get $200 of interest. As I mentioned, usually your tax rate would be around 20%. So then $40 of that you have to pay in tax. In Canada, there's something called a tax-free savings account. So that is an option you can look into to put away money tax-free, to let it grow tax-free until you need it to send it to your family. Now, if you guys are interested in this topic, I can talk more details about the tax-free savings account in the next session, because there's a lot of details regarding that. So if you're interested, please let your recruiter know, and please put in the comment section, let us know that you'd be interested in a tax-free savings account info session, and we can talk about that next time. Okay, I think that is a high-level view about the payroll and tax system and how to file your income tax. Just like to ask if there's additional questions regarding tax.
Oh, I have a question. Why do people pay? Why do we have to pay taxes?
Elisha says.
Oh, hello. Hi, Allison. Sorry, we lost you a bit there. Can you repeat your question again?
Yeah, my question is, why do people have to pay taxes?
Oh, okay. Good. Very good question. The reason why we pay taxes is because there's a lot of public services that are available. So, for example, roads, bridges, buildings, schools. So all these things come out of your taxes. So, and also importantly, your healthcare, because in Canada, when you come work here, your healthcare is free, and that is a big portion where taxes go to. So, does that answer your question, Allison?
It does. And another thing that people are really surprised about is also our education is free. So right. Kindergarten to grade 12, our education is free. An excellent education system. You know, I'm just going to quickly share this one story. I shared this story the other day. Winnie and Vim were having a panel interview. There were, I don't know, 30, 40 people interested in coming to Canada to work as food counter attendants through the Saskatchewan Immigration Nominee Program. So I just jumped in and we got on topic about healthcare. And, you know, a few years ago, I was invited to a Christmas party a bunch of our temporary foreign workers had. And this one guy had lost a lot of weight. And I said to him, I said, hey, how's it going? And he said, well, you know, I've been undergoing treatment for cancer, and I've just finished my treatment, and I've been in remission now for a year, and I'm expected to recover fully. And I am so thankful to have had cancer in Canada. And I went, wow. You know, I had to think about that for a second. I said, can you imagine? I thought, you know, I would never have heard somebody say, I'm thankful to have cancer in Canada, but he was, because he said, you know what? If I was back home, for example, I don't know, in the Philippines or in India, people, the average working person can't afford treatment. And he said cancer often, for example, in the Philippines, without treatment is really a death certificate. So he said, grateful to have cancer in Canada. So, you know, what pays for our taxes, we have a great medical system and education system. And our roads don't have potholes. That's nice.
Yep.
Just saying.
And as I also mentioned, from kindergarten to grade 12 is free. And also, you know, if one day when your kids go to university, a large portion of university education is also funded by federal provincial taxes. So if they weren't funded and it's private education, the university tuition is a lot more expensive. And as someone who went to university in Canada, I definitely grateful for that. So
yeah.
And also, if you want to enjoy the child benefit, you need to file a tax, because
yes,
even if your husband filed a tax and if you are the mother, the child will be dependent on you. If you will not file the tax, you will not enjoy the benefit.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Another thing is maternity or spousal leave for a year,
yes,
Yeah.
right?
Or 18 months now.
18 months.
18
Yeah.
months.
Yeah,
yes.
they extended it to
It's 18 months that can be shared between the husband and the wife.
Yeah.
Can I have a baby?
They're laughing at me because employers maternity leave. Anyway, all good.
Woody, you said someone had a question?
Somebody said it very, very informative,
Oh, that's awesome.
and it's very good to save as TFW in Canada. Wow, nice tax compilation. Very informative.
Wow.
Thank you. And then they were saying, to build school, roads, and can help the community. And somebody's asked, Miko is asking, is there a tax exception for the person's first year working in Canada?
Great question. Unfortunately, there isn't a tax exemption. Like I said earlier, it's the Canadian tax is based on residency. So if you're working here and you're living here, as we mentioned earlier, you are, in a sense, enjoying the benefits for healthcare and roads. So therefore, it is a benefit too. However, I would say that because I came to Canada when I was 16 as well, and I started working, and I know for a fact that when you first come here, you'll be blown away by all the benefits you receive compared to where you worked before. Even compared to the United States and the South, the Canadian system, because we do believe more in equality and justice for everyone. So even though you are paying taxes, that's what, as I said earlier, it's a progressive tax system. So you'll be only taxed, as I mentioned, only about around 20% around your first year. And also something I forgot to mention earlier, it is not based on your hourly rate. So let's say you come here in June of this year, so you only work for half a year. So you'll be only taxed on half year, not the full year as if you worked. So the rate is on the final amount you earn. Oh, and also something I like to mention is that in the Canadian tax system, there is something called a personal amount. So you will not be taxed, because to encourage people to work and to give you a tax break, you'll be not taxed on the first $13,000 you earn. So again, that's why make sure you do a tax return, because the employer is withholding your tax based on this much you earn, but you will have a $13,000. Everyone who's working does have a $13,000 personal tax credit. So up to $13,000, you'll be not taxed on anything. So it's something to keep in mind when you file your taxes. So hopefully that helps a bit to answer the question. There's no exemption, but there's a lot of benefits and tax credits available for those of you who are coming the first year.
And it's fun to receive tax
Tax
refund.
Yes, it's like getting a bonus.
I'm always excited.
Yes, me too.
I'm not. Maybe I need to find a new accountant.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, when you say taxes are based on residency,
Mhm.
residency means temporary residence and also permanent residence.
Correct.
So, because a lot of temporary foreign workers think, well, I'm not a permanent resident or a Canadian, I shouldn't have to pay taxes. But you explained it well. You were enjoying the benefits of what the tax system does. And the taxes in Canada do go back to the people living in Canada, roads,
Absolutely.
education, schools. They don't go to anybody's shoe collection.
Absolutely. And
In reference to Imelda Marcus, right?
and
She had a big shoe collection.
yes. And to give you an example, so one of my friend's parents, they came from China, and obviously they came on a visitor's visa.
Yeah.
So her parents are in their 60s, and then they got ill while they were staying here. They went to the hospital, and $7,000 later, they came and probably stayed for a week. So what I'm saying is, even though you feel like you're paying a lot of taxes, it is nothing compared to the benefits you're getting. So as someone, because even as a temporary foreign, you're protected in many ways. Whereas if you're a visitor, you're out of pocket for a lot of things.
There's one question. Is cash taxable?
Is cash taxable?
If you're being paid by cash,
No, but it's
it is under the Canadian tax system. If that cash is based on employment work performed, it is taxable. So if let's say someone gave you $100 for shoveling their backyard for 2 weeks, do you want to report that? If you want to be honest, sure, yes, but
Right.
sure, but is CRA reasonably that you need to go through your bank statement and find every single cash receipt? No. However, if you're getting a $5,000 cash payment as a bonus, then that is something you should include on your tax return, because that would be an expense recorded by your employer.
Okay, here's a question. What about tips? If you're a server and you get paid tips, which is usually in cash.
Oh, great question, Allison. That is a question that I'm legally obligated to advise you to report every single dollar of tips you earn. However, there are some personal discretion in terms of how much tip you earn. So I will leave the judgment ultimately up to the taxpayer.
Okay.
Any other questions?
so I'm not. This is not part of the tax, but somebody says like,
Right.
can a worker study here in Canada?
Oh, that's a good question. I can answer that.
Okay.
Can a worker study here in Canada? So when you get a disclaimer, I'm not an immigration consultant. I have a team of immigration consultants. I'm just sharing you information that I know. So when you receive a work permit in Canada, it will state, you could only work for the employer named on the work permit. Your work permits are occupation, employer specific, typically job location or locations with that same employer. You cannot work in the sex trade, and you could not attend school. So what is considered a student? A student, according to the Canadian government, is anybody who's enrolled in a course 6 months or greater. So if you want to go to school and enroll in a course that is 6 months or less, you're not considered a student. It's considered a course of interest. So a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll come here and maybe take an IELTS course in Canada to improve their English, or take, I don't know, what courses would you guys want to take? Horseback riding, skiing, I don't know. But no, as long as if it's 6 months or less, you're good.
Okay, so
Good question.
Jay's asking, what happened if someone forgets to pay tax on time?
Oh, good question.
Canada has a lot of fur-lined handcuffs.
Or maybe he is asking because like you get this deducted automatically by your
Yes.
employer. Maybe he's asking if you forgot to file.
Yeah, so
It's kind of the
as
same.
I mentioned earlier, just to clarify for those of you who join later on, so there's a tax is a two process. So when you are employed, the employer is legally required to deduct the reasonable amount of a tax. So as I mentioned earlier, so let's say if you made $2,000 on your tax return, $2,000 on your pay stub, let's say semi-monthly. So that means the employer is calculating that you would have made $48,000 in a year. And then on that pay slip, 48,000, I think in most provinces, let's just say at 20%. So then on that pay slip, instead of getting the $2,000, $400 will be deducted from that. So you get a net of $1,600. So that CRA keeps. And at the end of year, let's say if you file your taxes and they realize that they took too much, they'll refund it to you, as I mentioned. Because even say, like I said earlier, if you come in June, even if you only made, let's say you made $2,000 each pay period, you only made $24,000, right? But they will tax you as if you made $48,000. So that's why they will take more taxes than they should have. So when you file your taxes by the end of April, you get a refund, if that helps. So it's a two-part process. They will deduct based on the pre-calculated one as if you work that pay period for the whole year. So anytime you work overtime, you'll be deducted more. So that's something, and if you have further questions, feel free to reach out to your recruiters with your situations and they will come and ask me and I'll be free to, I'll be more than happy to help you answer any specific questions regarding your situation. But that's generally how it works. But one more point, if you end up getting a refund, and sometimes you don't know until if you get a refund by the end of the year, but generally if you get a refund, if you miss the April 30th deadline, it's fine because the Canadian government owes you money, so they won't charge you any interest or penalties. But if you end up owing money based on tax you calculate and you don't file on time, you get a penalty for filing late, and then they will also charge you, I believe, about a 3 to 4% interest on the balance that is owed to them. So make sure you file on time so you don't have to pay any interest.
One more question. I would like to know whether if the visa is a student visa, are they also required to pay the tax even if they are working less hours? Because they're required to work like
20 hours.
20
Okay.
hours.
So even if they're on a student visa, as long as you're working, again, as I said, the general frame of things, if you're here on a student visa, there are a lot of benefits you enjoy as well. So if you're working part-time while being a student, you also be taxed on that. Good question though. Do you guys know if you're out here on a student visa, do you get healthcare and numbers and all that?
Yes.
Everyone.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because they're also have a temporary resident visa at the same time.
Okay. Then yes, if you work part-time, you also be taxed. But in all honesty, you won't be paying a lot of tax because if you're working under 20 hours a week, and I said with the personal amount, you'll be not paying a lot of tax during the year. So that hopefully helps you. You'll be taxed at overall a very low rate because of the personal amount.
Anybody have any quick questions for me? Because I've got to scoot to another meeting.
We have a lot of questions regarding Kuwait and UAE.
Okay.
Because they have been waiting for a long time. They're asking like, does AJ has planned for the backlog from Kuwait since 2009? Any positive updates? At least share some info that AJ is doing to help expedite our papers. Many thanks.
Well, I can share with you that besides the employers reaching out to the MP, us giving you information for you to reach out directly to the MP, how to order your own case notes through web form. Other than that, no, but I can tell you, I got an email from one of our consultants 12:19 my time, so an hour ago, saying, hi, everyone. Not sure if you've seen anything, but I've received a couple of approvals from the Abu Dhabi office today. And I noticed some movement on applications in process since 2020. I'm hoping that means they're finally getting through to the backlog. Another consultant said, yes, I've noticed the same thing. Hopefully they're chewing through the backlog, the visa officers. Be prepared to receive requests from IRCC for updated letters from employers indicating their continued requirements for TFWs and that the job is still available. So I can share with you that's probably the most encouraging news for the backlog.
Awesome.
And that office is does Kuwait.
So some are asking, is it really important for them to send letters to the MP?
Well, you know what? I think it is. I think we are now able, members of parliament might have a back door into the embassy, or if nothing else, they will request, they will forward our request to the embassy. So if nothing else, it kind of sheds some light on an application. So again, we have seen success with it in the past.
Okay, so we have Tahani. He said, hello, Ma'am Allison. I would like to appreciate all AJ Group for their great job. I'm in Kuwait and got my visa already. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, okay, that's great. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. It's always good. It's always encouraging to us to get positive feedback, and also encouraging. It's a sense of encouragement to folks who are waiting, and a testimonial to folks wondering, should we or should we not apply? So thanks for reaching out and sharing that positive news.
Absolutely.
Okay, some says like good news for all of the applicants in Kuwait. Yes, for all the applicants in Kuwait and UAE, we're also praying for you guys, because we are also excited for you to come to Canada. That is also our dream, that you can come here. Like if we can just bring you today, why not, right, Allison?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Kuwait is not on my list of top destinations, that's for sure. I will, but I mean, I could. If I go to Dubai, you guys in Kuwait want to meet me in Dubai? We can hang out there, right?
Yeah.
And besides, I think I'll be arrested if I go to Kuwait, because we've hired so many people there. I'm sure there's a lot of employers that do not like me. But and you know what? As things start to improve, I'd love to go to the Philippines, work with our tie-up agency there, set up some job seminars, and also some folks from our recruitment team to also be joining. So as the world starts to open up, I do want to reach out and do some like live in person, touchy-feely seminars, and I think that would be great. So all you guys in Kuwait, come hang out with me in Dubai. I'll buy you a drink. You can drink there.
Yes. Yes. Ray is asking, in Kuwait, can we go to the Canadian embassy to ask on the application?
No, I couldn't even go to a Canadian embassy. These places are locked down. Yeah, it's not like you can go in the front door and take a number. Yeah, no, they're yeah, you can't.
Okay, someone is asking, what was the question?
About the LMIA.
Same voice, that's his name.
What's his name?
Same voice.
Sane voice.
Same.
Same. Okay.
Okay, he's saying that he has been waiting for his LMIA for 3 months now.
Okay, who's his employer?
Can you tell us who's your employer? Same voice, because that is not your real name, so we cannot see
Who your employer is?
yeah.
Yeah, you've been waiting for 3 months. Who is your employer?
That's a long time to wait for an LMIA. 3
Yeah,
months.
so we can also follow up, right?
Yeah, so we can follow up.
If you can, since you have an LMA, that means just please contact your recruiter, and then
Yeah.
they can reach out to the administrating team to check on the status.
And if you have like personal questions with your application or with everything employer here, or you're here, if you have concerns, even if you're already here in Canada, reach out to your recruiter. If your recruiter is Raker, then you can reach out to me. We will gladly help you. And also you can call us on our phone.
Hey, so for next week's, we'll do another one of these next week. So let us know on Facebook what you guys would like featured, and we can get it ready. You know, maybe we can have another dynamic guest like Leo. You know, would you guys like to hang out with an immigration consultant for a half an hour next week? Ask an immigration consultant all the questions you want.
Yep.
But you have to be nice.
I think they're a very nice bunch of people. From the
Yeah, for
questions.
sure. So I don't know, guys, we have 200 vacancies for fast food service supervisors, food service supervisors. Not sure if I could say that 3 times in a row quickly. So we have a lot of vacancies for supervisors, swing managers, fast food industry. So don't be shy and apply. Lots for food counter attendants coming to Canada as nominated through the Saskatchewan Immigration Nominee Program. So we would be working on your permanent residency right away. So great opportunities out there. I know we need automotive service technicians. We need mechanics. We need lots of mechanics. International nurses. We need nurses, line cooks. Calling everybody who works at Chili's, Cheesecake Factory, TGIFs, line cook. I will hire you tomorrow, and your friends and all the other people that work with you in the line as a line cook. That all come over together all at once. So so apply at Winnie, where do they apply at?
Careers@ajccanada.com.
Okay, Winnie will post at careers with an S at ajccanada.com. I think that's all I have. Time for 2 more questions. Winnie, anything else?
Oh, same voice says his employer is Canalta Food.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We have to know what location we're doing a 200 person hire for Canalta. So yeah, just reach out to your recruiter. Oh, so there's an announcement that was made. I don't know if we posted on Facebook that the Canadian government just made an announcement that starting April 1st, you don't need to show proof of
Waiver in Saskatchewan.
COVID tests as long as you're fully vaccinated.
Yep.
Now that's for Canadians. Is it the same for anybody entering Canada?
I think it's for all international travelers coming to Canada.
All international travelers. Okay. So you don't have to worry about getting a COVID test. That's good.
One less process to worry about before your arrival.
No kidding.
Tal is
Okay.
asking, hi AJ, can do part-time job while having a part-time job in my 2 years? I'm not sure.
I think it has to be a minimum 30 hours, right?
Can you have a part-time job while you're working here on a temporary, on a work permit? No,
Maybe.
Mm.
Yeah.
no. Because remember, the work permit is employer specific.
Yes.
So you can only work for that employer, nobody else.
But if you want to shovel your neighbor's sidewalk in a heavy snowstorm for $50, I think that's allowed, right? Just as a side. No.
No.
No, you cannot help a neighbor shovel sidewalk.
If you are being paid, no, not
Okay.
allowed.
Okay, my apologies.
No.
I take that back. I thought.
That is why Leo is in accounting. It's all about the money.
She's just saying, "Hi, Miss Allison. I have done my biometrics from KSA. Can I go? Can I go now, India?"
Okay, sorry, say that again. I was coughing.
Hi, Miss Allison. I have done my biometrics from Saudi.
Okay.
Can he go to India? Maybe for vacation.
Like for a vacation, you mean? Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Bring me back some curry.
So much people want to apply from Macau. Please tell us what is the easiest way.
Okay, Macau people. Calling all Macaus. Macau. What do you call a person from Macau? Canadian? Macauian?
Macau.
I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, so anybody working Macau, that is so exciting because Macau, the processing time is fast. It's like 12 weeks. They process out of the Canadian visa office in Hong Kong, and the Canadian visa office in Hong Kong is very favorable. They just go, yes, yes, yes. So calling everybody from Macau, come on over. Absolutely. And
Okay.
Singapore, fast.
Okay, somebody says, "Thank you so much. Hoping for a quick live with immigration officer soon, so we can ask questions."
Okay, great. So let's organize that for sure for next Friday. With Raman, she's great, informative, and you guys can start prepping your questions.
Yes, you
I
can
bet
start.
I bet I can tell you what the top 3 questions will be.
I know.
Okay, sure.
Okay, and she said, same voice says, Maria Ennig has left AJ
Oh.
Who?
because she was the
Maria Ennig.
she was the
know.
recruiter.
I know. Actually, it's funny. I talked to Maria today. So Maria, husband has relocated, and as a result, obviously she has to follow her husband, and she went back to school to work in the medical field, and she got an opportunity at a hospital where they've relocated. So we all miss Maria. She's awesome. I check in with her from time to time and go, "Hey Maria, do you hate your new job yet?" Yeah.
Okay. Roman Benig says, "Hi AJ, applied work permit on November 2021 from Kuwait. It was reflecting 15 weeks processing time. How long does it take for approval?"
I have no idea. And, I've talked about this before, especially in Kuwait. It's such a goofy country. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but a goofy country when it comes to processing, because 1 week they'll go processing times are now 68 weeks. And then 2 weeks later, they say, oh, processing times are reduced to 14 weeks. And historically, they're like that. They're all over the map. So countries that are consistent with their processing times, top countries, Saudi Arabia, Philippines, consistent is Singapore, Macau. Singapore and Macau, steady Eddie. So Kuwait, I don't know. I can't, in all honesty, I can't tell you because it makes no sense to me. Now, the Canadian government is improving their system. They realize that that it needs improvement, whereby instead of sending that temporary resident visa application to the Canadian embassy of where you physically are, so if you're physically in Kuwait, they send it there. So what I've said to the government for years now, why don't you use a centralized system? So for example, the Canadian visa office in I don't know, Vienna, Austria, processing time is 2 days. Guess what? They're not really busy in that office. And it's the same officer and same application. Instead of being backlogged in Kuwait, get a centralized system and send it, oh, okay, who's not busy this week? Okay, here you go, Vienna, process this application. Like, to me, that makes sense. So the government is now moving towards that system. Not because I said so, certainly. I think everybody's been saying that to them. So that's going to be an improvement. And I don't know, we posted this, I think last month on Facebook, backlog because of COVID. Okay, guess what? Let's stop using the COVID card because it's now just the new norm. And also they've just hired, what was it, 500 or 600 new visa officers, Winnie, whatever we posted on Facebook that the government shared with us. So hopefully with moving to a centralized system where the application will be submitted based on processing times, opposed to based on where you're physically standing. So fingers crossed, let's see. Boy, that was a really long answer to a question.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Detailed. It was
Yeah.
detailed.
So Joanne is asking, hello, ma'am, can we get married during work permit processing? Your advice, please.
Wow, people still get married these days? Is your application already submitted?
Yeah, I
If
think
you're-
it's already on process.
Yeah, I mean, you can certainly. We would have to update your application. Could that cause a delay? I'm not sure. Okay, so you know what, Joanne, save that question. Tune in next week and ask Rahman. Can you? Certainly you can. We just have to update the application. Will that cause delays? Good question for Rahman.
Okay. I think this would be our last question because it's
Yeah.
almost 12. Jacob is asking, what is the best way to become faster their application because so many applicants are waiting, especially in Dubai, in UAE, Kuwait, and Qatar? What is the best way to resolve this issue?
I've already answered that. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thanks, guys. Have a great weekend. I know in a lot of places, if you're in the Middle East, your weekend started yesterday. So today is your Saturday, right? Right.
Yes.
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 Yeah. So, you know, when the weekend start, the Friday, we always go TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. So would you guys go TGIT? Thank God it's Thursday. Is that a thing? I don't know. If it is a thing, let me know. Just tell us on Facebook. Be kind of interesting. Okay, bye guys. Stay safe. Thanks for hanging out. Always like connecting with everybody and see you next week. Save your questions for our immigration consultant. Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye, Ali.
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Thank you.